Hi guys! In this video, we're going to develop the beat we made last time and use it to start sketching out a longer section. In order to do that, we need to switch to song mode. There are two playback modes in FL Studio, pattern and song mode. In pattern mode, only the pattern you are currently working on is played in a continuous loop. Until now, we've been working exclusively in pattern mode with just one drum pattern. To make a full track, we'll want more than just one pattern. We can then arrange our patterns to create our track in the playlist. Hit F5 to open the playlist. Switch to the brush tool with the B keyboard shortcut and click in the first lane of the playlist and drag out to the right to paint the current pattern 4 times. We've now added 4 bars of the drum pattern. If you've added too many patterns or haven't got the placement right, you can remove patterns by right-clicking them. The snap settings up here make it easier to place things where we want them. I'm going to switch to cell, which will snap to the start of the cell that you click in. Line is similar, but will snap to the nearest line, either to the left or the right of where you click. I suggest you experiment with both line and cell and see which one you prefer. Both of these settings are linked to the zoom level, which I find very useful. Hold down Ctrl and use your mouse wheel to zoom in and out. As you zoom out further, note how the number of lines or cells visible in the playlist changes for each bar. Have you noticed how the pattern we added to the playlist is called Pattern 1? Let's quickly rename it to Basic Beat by pressing F2. Once you've entered a name, hit F2 a few times to cycle through random colors until you find one you like and then hit Enter. Note how our pattern is listed here on the left. If you can't see this area, press Alt-P to show it. It's now time to add a second pattern. Press F4 to add a new pattern and enter a name. I'm going to call mine Drum Variation. Hit F2 a few times and select a color and hit Enter. When you add a new pattern, it is automatically selected. Remember, you can see the currently selected pattern in both the toolbar and the list to the left of the playlist. I'm going to make a very similar beat to the one before, but change the snare drum pattern by adding another hit at the end. Let's add the new pattern to the playlist. I'm going to replace every second pattern with the new one. Right-click to delete the old pattern and left-click to add the new one. To select a different pattern to place in the playlist, you can select it from the toolbar, choose it from the picker on the left of your playlist. Make sure that the keyboard icon is selected in the picker. Use the plus and minus keys on your keyboard to cycle through your patterns. Click on a pattern in the playlist to select it. This is my favorite option and why I tend to immediately add new patterns to the playlist. Then I can simply click on the pattern to select it. I find this is the fastest workflow, but see what works best for you. Now there's a much quicker way to copy data between patterns when creating simple variations. You can manually copy your data from one pattern to another. In the channel rack, click this little selector to select a channel. Hold down Shift and click to add more channels to your selection. Double-click to select all channels. Hit Ctrl+C to copy the data in the selected channels. Add a new pattern with F4, and then hit Ctrl+V to paste the data to the new pattern. You can clone a pattern using either Make Unique from the Patterns menu in the playlist, or use the Ctrl+Shift+C shortcut to clone the current pattern. You can also select Clone from the Patterns menu. Unfortunately, you can't clone patterns in the trial version. If you are using the trial, you will need to manually copy your pattern data. I'm going to quickly delete the extra patterns I just added by right-clicking them in the picker. With song mode enabled, let's listen to the track in the playlist. Don't forget to save your work with Ctrl+S. Now it's your turn to create some more variation of your own and add these patterns to the playlist. Once you've finished making your drum patterns and arranging them, I'll see you in the next video where we are going to add a bass to our track.